Well, that's what they tell me, but now do I believe it or not?
See,
That
you're a
was pretty
smart
good.
dude
Did you
right
catch
there.
that or was that
That's right, dude. Freaking look, bro, you just said like everything that needs to be said in 2 sentences. I fight with these guys all the time. They're like, "Why do you believe a flat earth?" Like, bro, it's not the situation. The situation is you're running around experiencing a flat earth, and someone who was like, "Oh, Earth's a globe," and you were like, "Okay, I believe you." And that's the actual situation. Someone have you been listening on YouTube at all? Sig?
What do you mean, like, right now or just in general?
No, in the past, like, previous to coming here today.
I've probably come across it for a few minutes, but, like, no one really chats, and I was like then I saw you guys
Yeah.
talking today, and I was like, "I wanna get back into where the people are talking."
Oh, cool. Well, I asked these guys, I'm like, "If nobody told you the Earth was a globe, would you have figured it out yourself?" And they're like, "No." Every single person has said no. So it's like they don't realize that it's just like they just someone just said something to them and they just believe them, and it's really that simple. It's no more complicated than that. But they try to make it some frickin' crazy convoluted sociological frickin' web of lies. Like, it's not like that at all.
Yeah, to add to that, it's like, it is really true when they say, "Once you see it, you can never go back." It just, like, frees your mind up, it's amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I had that similar experience. It was like offloading garbage, man.
Like I was telling, I think DJ put up a picture of some of them were just poles, some were the windmills or whatever they call those things. And I was telling them, like, now when people instead of it just being a picture of that and like, "Oh, look at this picture of these windmills," my mind automatically went to the fact that I could see water going up behind them in the distance. Like it like automatic it's weird. It's hard to
Yeah.
explain until you experience it.
Yeah, dude, it opens up a lot, like, you actually start looking at the natural world again with, like, a little bit of wonder and a little bit of curiosity, whereas before I was like, I didn't even notice that stuff. I really noticed the sun wherever it is, dude. I'm all over that shit. Like the angle of the sun, the direction it sets, and the direction it rises, and where it goes. Like I'm always aware of it. I mean, I was always aware of it in a very rudimentary way, but now I'm like hyper aware of it. Whereas before, I kind of didn't even. I only used it really to okay, uh, how long is it before the sun goes down? I could estimate that based on how bright it was.
Yeah. Yeah, another experience I had, it's kinda it's just my own personal experience because it's looking at the sky type of thing, but for me, like, because maybe it'll help other people, but it's not like a flat earth proof thing, it's just my personal experience, because everyone wants to rip your head off if you say something, so I gotta have the disclaimer in there that this is just my personal but anyway, when I when I go outside and I look at the moon nowadays, if anybody does it, because you just think of the moon, like, "Oh, I just go out and look at it." No, but when you actually now that you're in this, like, phase of your mind freeing up, when I look at the moon, it looks like a light. It doesn't look like something reflect like the sun reflecting off it. It looks like a light bulb, and if you really pay attention when you go out there and look at it, you'll probably never look at it the other way again. But like I said, that's kinda like you know what I
You
mean?
said
That's
the
my
moon looks like a
personal.
light bulb.
Yeah, the way I look at the view the moon now is it looks like a light. Because when you try
Yeah,
and visualize it when you're inside, like, "Oh, yeah, it does look like" but literally look at it and look at it like a light, and it's like It's really bright. It doesn't look like the sun reflecting off of it, off of gray dust. You know what I mean?
I actually saw a video, um, it was probably like 2 week maybe a week ago, but it said that if you were on the moon, they're giving their little bullshit story. If you're on the moon, because the Earth is very shiny because it has water compared to the moon, that even in the dark part of the moon, that the reflection of the sunlight off the surface of the Earth, that it would appear as like twilight, even though you're in the dark side. So you'd be lit up and you'd be able to see just like daytime. In the phase part of the moon that we look at, they're saying on that surface, it's bright. Bright as twilight, bright as sunset. That the moon never actually gets dark in the first place because of the reflection of the Earth. Other than the side that's not lit by the side that faces away from us. This is their bullshit, dude. This is the funny thing about the heliocentric gold model. They need to just keep adding pieces and pieces and pieces, and then the pieces get more ridiculous as time goes on. So I don't know if there was this is a funny one. You're gonna like this one. So they say they launched something and sent it to the moon, and when they sent it, it was the day of a lunar eclipse. Now remember, when they landed it, right? It was called the Blue Bird or Blue Bug or Blue something or other. And so it's a rover on the moon that a private company launched, and it's on the moon during the day of a lunar eclipse. Now, from the moon, that's a solar eclipse, right? So they showed in their photos from the moon a ring of fire, right? The ring of the sun going around the moon, the Earth. What they said was the Earth, just like we see on Earth, we see the ring of fire. Well, here's the problem. The Earth is 1.7 times larger than the sun visually, and there's no way you could ever see a fucking ring of fire from the fucking moon. Like, but the thing is, they just make these stories more and more convoluted, man. Where they get like they, it's like a compulsive liar that forgets their lies. They can't keep track of them all because the machine is too complicated at this point for them to keep track of all to stay consistent between all the claims. It's impossible now.
Yeah, it's like I always tell people, like, um, goes along the lines of what am I thinking here? Okay, they got this fear, right? But everything keeps changing to try and fit things. Like if it's so perfect, if you have a model and it's so perfect, why is everything changing? Why were the planets going in circles around everything? And then it turned into elliptical, and now it's like the Earth is perfectly round, but no, it's not. It's a little, the whole pear thing. But my complaint with like the bulging at the equator, that doesn't make sense to me. You're saying that even if it's billions of years, like it's insignificant that it's 13 miles or whatever they say, or 30 miles. But if it's spinning and it can do that kind of like pulling out the earth, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be standing on the earth. I don't think people realize if that's what they're trying to claim, that this spin is able to pull the equator out like that, we would not be able to stand on the earth. It doesn't matter if it's 13 miles, that's still a huge force, if that makes sense. Like, if you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it
it
makes
just
sense. Makes sense to me. And
because
well, you know what they do, right? They cope. They go, well, it's not really slow, or it's only, whatever. The Earth is so big, or they come up with all these excuses, right?
Yeah,
On
they
why
put
that
it
might not be
into
the
like,
case.
it took billions of years to get it to that point. Then Neil deGrasse Tyson was like, yeah, well, in a billion years, it's gonna flatten out into a pizza.
yeah,
Drace,
that's what
what made
they
me
would
think of? I'm gonna ask one of these guys how many billions of years until the Earth spins itself into a disk, into a flat disk.
that'd be a good one.
And just be like, well, dude, dude, you'll literally see the hourglass. Like, there can't be a flat Earth. No, Nah, man, we just got the chronology wrong. The Earth is just freaking 2 trillion years old, man. It's just flat disk spinning in space.
But yeah, I could see them saying that. I could say, well, it's been billions of years. I even kind of figured it out in my head because I try and think what might be said. And it's like, okay, let's say they said it was a billion years. Even if it was a millimeter a year or whatever you would divide that into it or whatever, the point is that the force of it spinning caused that. No human would be able to survive that. It's just common sense.
What I have a problem with is the orbit of 66,000 miles or 67,000 miles per hour roughly. If some object the size of the Earth is moving at that speed into gas on one side and away from the gas on the other side, there would be compression and a low pressure environment on the other side. It would be unattainable. You wouldn't be able to survive on an object like that.
Yeah, what's the one they use for that? Is that just like atmosphere and gravity or something somehow nullifies that or something? I forget.
Yeah, they don't. I have never heard any good explanation. It's just gravity's magic. It kind of makes sure not to pull too hard on one side and pulls extra hard on the other side, so it all balances out and there's nothing. You can't measure any effect of the motion.
Yeah, and then it's like, I almost think they should have kept up with circles. What was circles, like 1500s, 1600s? I thought I remember in grade school I learned that it was circles, and then high school it became ellipticals or something. But I guess the circle thing was like the 15 or 1600s. But to me, they would have been out better off. Elliptical just really screws things up, especially with a 25-degree tilt.
So yeah, the reason why the Earth is a globe is because some so we say some people has traveled all the way up to space to take some pictures of the globe or of the Earth, and it's pretty much round, and it is a globe.
He's got
So,
a point. I mean, back in 1968, this was in the 60s, obviously, so there was no the Photoshop or photo editing software back then, and they took a picture, and I
That's
think it was
not
one of
that's
the
not
first
correct,
ones.
actually.
Hey Zero, how did people know that the Earth was a globe before they went to space?
I don't know, man. I was not born in that time, so I can answer your question, unfortunately.
So was the Earth flat before then?
Probably not, but who knows?
Oh, and B-Man, could you tell the Soviet Union from that all of their manipulated photos that they couldn't have possibly done those, so they must have been time travelers because they couldn't possibly have manipulated photos before Photoshop was invented. Could you let the Soviet Union know that? You'll have to time travel yourself to do that. Thanks, B-Man.
I don't really know what
Yeah,
you're
they've been
talking about,
manipulating
but I know that
photos since shortly after the invention of the film and
yeah, by
photography.
manipulating,
My stupid English.
manipulating, they stitch the different parts of the image
Yep,
together,
yep,
so they
and
get a full
it
image.
looks it can look almost indistinguishable from a normal photo. It's still a manipulated photo.
What do you mean? But you're not really saying anything. Do you think they got like Stanley Kubrick to like make some really realistic sculpture and then take a picture of it? Like that's
No,
just
NASA
conspiracy at
already
that
has.
point.
We have documentaries of showing when NASA made lifelike models of the moon for the moon landings, for instance.
Yeah, that's really cool. But like the pictures there, you can look at it. It's everyone knows it's been stitched together. You can't really take a full picture of the Earth because it's fucking huge, unless you want to travel out a really far distance, and then it's going to be hard to take a photo, isn't it?
Hey, I got something for you, bro. Okay, so during an interview with What was his name? What was the guy's name that was interviewing
Buzz Aldrin. or
Buzz
whatever.
Aldrin? It was, on this talk show, there was the host was interviewing Buzz Aldrin, and he goes,
Yeah.
"I saw you and Armstrong land on," and Buzz Aldrin said, "No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Stop." He's like, wait, what do you mean? I guess my memory's fuzzy. What? He goes, "No, you didn't see us land on the moon. You saw an animation. There was nobody there taking the camera, like with the camera, taking a video. There's nobody there."
Okay, well, this
So-
is a different conspiracy,
Okay,
isn't it?
so
This is if they
even
land on
if they
the
claim
moon or
that any footage after that, right, was real, do admit that they did forge some footage, right? Not to deceive, but just for entertainment, like, you know, for purposes, educational purposes. They couldn't take a photo or video footage of people landing on the moon because they weren't there yet, right? So they made an animation just to give them, like, you know, just to, for the audience's sake, that look, here's what we would like. We can't show you what we're doing right now, but this is what it would look like, right? So much so that it fooled Conan O'Brien into thinking that he watched people land on the moon.
Yeah, I have that clip right here. I'll play it right now.
Go ahead.
I remember my parents waking me up, and we went down and we watched you guys land on the moon,
No,
which
you
was
didn't. No, you didn't.
what?
Because there wasn't any television. There wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation. So you associated what you saw with.
I have very hazy
Yeah,
memories.
I know.
Well, no, but what we saw was we all were gathered around the old curved top radio
me
and listened.
talking about you know, how many feet we were going to the left and right, and then I said contact light, engine stop,
It was
and a few other
exciting.
things, and then Neil said, "Houston, Tranquility Base, the Eagle has landed."
This was
Man, how about that?
that was very exciting.
not a bad line.
Yeah. This was,
They didn't have Photoshop, right?
it'd be nice if you wore a
But I
tie. That was a
didn't.
tribute to me.
No, this is my.
Did he just say not a bad line?
It's
Yeah.
not a bad lie.
Look,
Oh,
that doesn't really mean anything, but
what?
they could have not a bad line doesn't really mean anything. You could say that about anything. I could say something really
Oh,
cool right
man.
now, and someone could.
You want to
That's
hear him admit to a little girl that they didn't go
It was
there?
a different culture back then. Okay.
Hold on a
You're
second.
trying to
Before we
use your
start playing,
2025 brain and project it how fucking 1920s born people talked.
yeah, that's cool, but I don't really care about the moon landing
Just
stuff.
say nuh-uh. Just say nuh-uh.
I don't really
just
care
say
about
it.
the moon landing stuff. That's that's another conspiracy, and that one has a bit more merit to it, I guess. But if you're talking about manipulating photos and videos and stuff like that, you could have said the moon landing video could have been a set. We don't know. We've been making movies since what, like the 20s, 1920s?
We can actually know because you can use stereoscopic image analysis from all because we have so many pictures from the moon landings, and you can use stereoscopic image analysis where you overlay images which are looking in the same general direction but from slightly different angles, slightly different shifted positions, and so that relative perspective shift can show you how far away the distant background is, and it literally shows they're in a studio, and an expert has basically done this analysis, and I can give you a link to it.
Okay, so some guy's done this, but again, I don't really care about the moon landing because whether that's true or not,
I love how
it
you
has
just turned
completely
his
different.
expert into some guy.
I
You
don't
think
really
you're slick,
care.
bro? You're not slick.
You're not slick either, Indio.
Yeah. So, the expert said, "Oh,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
some
continue
guy."
speaking.
Yeah.
So
not
I don't
some
really
guy. He's not an
care
expert.
about the moon shit, okay? Because that has completely different motives to it, whether that's true or not. That's nothing to do with the Earth being curved. They wanted to land on the moon because of the Cold War and whatever. And if they wanted to fake that shit so they could, say that they got there first, it's nothing to do with the curved Earth. But yeah.
Yeah, but
Anything else?
because you started by saying, well, they saw the Earth from like outer space. The only people who've ever gone outside of low Earth orbit, according to the whole paradigm, are the people who went to the moon. And so the rest of them have just stayed in low Earth orbit, according to the calculations. That's too low to the ground to see the Earth as a ball.
Pictures from low Earth orbit. Let me see this. Oh no, you can
So the only
you
people that
can you
even
can see
claim
it.
to have seen the Earth as a ball in its
Wait,
entirety
he found the
are the
curve.
Apollo
Post it.
astronauts.
Post the curve.
Can I post
People on the
images in the chat?
ISS
I
would
don't know
only
if I...
see 3% of the Earth.
No, they can't post. I can't post, Jimmy. They don't let me.
So you know the people on the ISS would only see 3% of the Earth if they could see the entire circle, the horizon, which they can't. They can only see a section of that, like a pizza slice of the circle. So they see less than 3% of the Earth, significantly less. Probably like fucking
I'm looking at some
1/10 of
pictures from
1%.
what space station is this? Let me check. It's not showing me. I'm looking at some pictures from low Earth orbit right now. They look pretty. It looks
Yeah,
pretty
I'm sure
round
you
to
are.
me.
You
I'm
can
sure that's
put a
exactly what
link
they
in the
said.
chat.
These are pictures from low Earth orbit. I'm sure that's exactly what they said they are. But they're not from low Earth orbit.
1 second.
They can't be
Post
from
the
low
link.
Earth orbit because they depict a
There we
scene
go.
that is impossible to be where they say they are. So from
Hi.
250 miles above the surface of an 8,000 mile diameter ball, we can figure out what that would look like, and it don't look like that.
I don't know, man. He posted a very convincing link. I might be converting.
Hold on.
It looks so real.
I'm going to pull a picture from that. So here's the picture. Here's the picture.
Wow. It's so real.
So now let's just work this out. So 200, if you rescale it, 250 miles above a ball, 8,000 miles in diameter, is the same as being 2.25 inches above a ball, 6 feet in diameter. Now imagine that you took your little iPhone and you had a ball that was 6 feet in diameter. You took the little iPhone camera and put the little camera 2.25 inches above the surface of the ball. Would it look like that? Of course
they're not
not.
using
It'll
an
be
iPhone
way
camera.
closer to the surface than that image.
So what are you trying to say here?
If that was low Earth orbit, Earth would be tiny.
Okay, what?
Wouldn't look like that, dude. You understand?
They're probably
3%
using
of the surface of the Earth.
they're probably using
If you could
special
see the
lens on
entire
that one.
circle. Now, let's say this field of view is 90 degrees. That would be something like, I don't know, 0.5% of the surface of the Earth.
Okay.
So
Well,
in the side chat, right? Drace posted that. Now the guy in the image is a professional planetarium director. So he gave a presentation on this about what the ISS would see. This was a flat Earth presentation. Now, obviously, he's not a flat earther, but this is what he showed. That white circle on that ball, this is to scale. That would be the entire view of the ISS. You could see 360 degrees, but you can't. So you would see this, a tiny sliver of that. Okay. Now think about the picture you just showed, bro.
uh-huh.
You think that little ball picture that I just took from that website would be the same view as the scale model of the Earth that this guy's holding? That those can be somehow equivalent views. So that white, like I said, the white circle is the horizon line. In his scale model, this is to scale, physical model. Just think about it for a second. Could that possibly be an actual image of the Earth? No. But the key thing isn't whether it's an image of the Earth or not. The key thing is there's impossible for you to tell what an authentic image is and what an authentic image isn't. You don't have the reference. You don't have any reference to go, hey, that image looks fake. Hey, that image looks real, because you've never seen the Earth from that point of view. So you have nothing to compare it against except for other images that people also claim are real. You can just compare them to each other. So you're in the realm, completely stuck in the realm of, you can't judge the authenticity by looking at the image itself because you have no framework from which to judge it. The only way we can test these images is to see, hey, what's in the image? What do they depict? Okay, they depict a bunch of things. So we can go on the Earth, the places that are in the image, and see if whatever that image shows, that thing is actually there. So in the case of these images, we can test if the water's curving. If the water's not curving, then this image is impossible because that's ocean. If the ocean's not curving, then this image is impossible. It's the only way these images can be evaluated.
The ocean has a bulge.
A water hill.
Water boner.
I mean, just complete the circle for a second. Here, I got another. I got a side view. It's even freaking worse than this. And the other one Jace posted, that's the this alleged Chinese space station photo, and they're only 23 kilometers lower than the ISS. Their horizon is completely flat. Why is that?
That one definitely looks fake.
They all look fake.
Just saying.
I just
So
think
posted
that the
a
Chinese are
GeoGebra
better at
construction.
math.
Hold on, one more, and this is the last thing I'm gonna leave. So this is a GeoGebra construction to scale in kilometers. So that little dot above that ball, that's where the ISS would be relative to the surface of the Earth. Now, mind you, that dot is obviously gigantic because you wouldn't be able to see it, but it's barely above the surface of the Earth. But that's not what that looks like.
Yeah,
That looks like if you
because the
pan
Earth
down,
is
you could
really
see
big.
the entire width of the Earth.
No, you can. The Earth is big, and you can take a pretty good photo from that angle. It's a pretty good vantage point.
250 miles above an 8,000 mile diameter ball. How are you going to get that in your field of view?
And you're not going to get the whole thing, are you? Yeah, and
Yeah, but you
that's
could,
not the whole
according to
thing.
this image. You could definitely get the whole thing.
It's just the horizon, is it not? Anyway,
Well, let
I'm
me
not
ask
going
you
to
this.
bother with photos because no matter what
How
photos I'm going to send, and you guys are going to say are fake.
If
So
they're because you can't, you applied no evaluation to them, dude. You typed
sure,
NASA.gov, whatever it was on there, you just believed authentic. Oh, it's on NASA.gov. It's authentic. That's your
tell me
evaluation.
this.
Well, how else did you evaluate them?
Tell me this. Can you make predictions with a flat Earth model?
Oh, God.
Yes.
What predictions do you make with a globe Earth model and provide the
Yeah,
model,
why don't
please?
you just show us the
Oh,
the
I'll give
globe
you
Earth
one.
model?
You can
So
predict
let's
exactly
make a
when the
prediction
next.
based on
Hold on, let him talk. I want to
Okay.
hear what they can predict. Hold on. What can you predict?
Back in 2017, whenever there was a solar eclipse or
Yeah, they don't use a globe Earth
over
model for that.
America,
Next.
they used the globe Earth model
No,
for
they don't.
the prediction. Yes, they did.
No, they do
Provide
not.
the model.
Yes, they did.
They use
Provide the
the Saros
model.
cycle.
Provide the
They use
model. If
something
you
called
said
the
that they
Saros
used a
cycle.
model,
You wanna-
sorry, Indio.
No, you
If
go
you
ahead,
say
Jedi.
that they used the model, then provide the model.
1 second.
It's another example of someone having to search for what they already believe to be true. Now,
Yeah, I'm thinking so.
afterwards, they look for the evidence, but they already believed it. That's the crazy part.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Kepler's laws. That's what they use. Planetary motion and the Earth's orbit to the Sun and the Moon's orbit around the Earth, which is tilted at a 5-degree angle relative to the Earth's
Yeah,
orbit.
who told you that?
The prediction
ChatGPT?
process calculates. No, a really easy Google search.
Yeah, go
When
on
3
NASA's
celestial
website.
bodies.
They're the one. Hold on. All the eclipse predictions that are on NASA's website are by a guy named Fred Espernak. He used the Saros cycle. He didn't use Keplerian orbital elements. They don't actually work. because according to them, there's too many perturbations of the orbit to actually accurately predict when an eclipse will happen. You can just use the Saros cycle, which has been used for thousands of years, to do it. It's very simple. So I'm going to post in the chat a video from a guy that teaches at Cambridge University. He's a mathematician. He goes all through the whole reason on why the heliocentric model cannot be used to accurately predict eclipse times. So they don't use that. They've never used it because it doesn't work. You just think it works. This is another myth that's spread around. Oh, globes predict eclipses. No, they don't. They don't use that shit.
So are you going to examine the evidence, B-Man 92, and concede if you find that that your claim is inaccurate?
You're quite optimistic.
Well, yeah, I
Doesn't
mean,
it?
you gotta have
Doesn't
fun.
the
Every
heliocentric
single
model?
conversation always ends up to some YouTube video that some guys made.
He's not just some guy. He teaches physics at Cambridge University. He's a professor.
Where's your
Yeah,
source?
Doesn't the
Where's your source?
Like
He
earlier,
Googled it. His source was Google.
NASA.gov.
like earlier, I gave him a
NASA.gov is a
PhD.
Soros cycle.
I gave him a PhD previously of the Department of Physics and Technology of Kharkov State University in Ukraine.
There we go.
Doesn't the
But you need
globe
to
model have
hold
a
on.
3-body problem? So how would you
Okay, cool.
predict anything like that?
I don't really
They
know.
can't.
I don't really know what that is. But don't you need to include the
You
the
can't
Earth's
predict the
rotation
orbits of 3
in
or
the
more
solar
bodies
cycle?
when you know the initial starting condition.
You need to include the Earth's rotation to predict
Yeah,
future
but
solar eclipses.
bro, you
In the
cannot
solar
predict the
cycle, the
orbits
one that
of.
you're talking about.
What about it?
No, there's no Earth
You need to
rotation in the
include
Saros
Earth's
cycle.
rotation.
So what they do
Yeah,
is
you
they
need to
take a
include it.
plane.
You need to
It's
include
called
it. Like
Besselian
solar.
orbital. Listen. It's called Besselian elements. So what they do is take a plane and then they figure out where the shadow projects on the plane. In fact, Shane St. Pierre, Mortawan, who's a fucking anti-flat earther, had to pay him $1,000 because he said you can't do this on a flat Earth, and he did.
10,000.
It wasn't 10,000. It was 1,000.
It was 10,000.
It wasn't 10,000, dude. It's 1,000. Shane even said so in the
Yeah,
post.
sounds like after the fact exaggeration.
The point is they use the Saros cycle. If you just type on Google, since you're familiar with your alma mater Google, if you just type in NASA Soros, you'll get
Yeah,
the
where
NASA.
do you get your information?
Okay.
The same place he's directing you to.
Jesus fucking Christ. Books. You ever
Like
read one?
NASA.
Why? What's wrong with
But
YouTube?
you get your information from YouTube. Oh, what's
I
wrong
get
with
some of
Google
my
then?
information
Google
from
owns
YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah.
Who cares?
So yeah, exactly. Who cares? So stop dissing Google, bro.
Well, no, well, Google, the
Huh?
way Google indexes information has nothing to do with the truth. See, I actually, I can go on Google and go to MIT OpenCourseWare and take entire fucking courses on physics. So can you.
Yeah.
You can't do that on Google. If you could use Google, it's going to direct you to the thing I just said, or I can go right to it. The point is that if you
can do a bit
go
digging,
on,
you can get the
if you
exact
go
same
on,
thing that you're
dude,
talking about.
you're deflecting from the point. You're trying to change the subject. If you go on Google, type in NASA eclipse website, it's going to take you to eclipses in the Saros cycle. Tells you all through how they predict eclipses. If you go all the way to the bottom, it says all these eclipses are predicted by a guy named Fred Espernak. He gives talks on how he actually does it. They don't use a globe model. You just thought that. In fact, nobody ever told you that. See, people just fill in the blanks because they're shown a diagram of how eclipses, a diagram explanation of how eclipses are supposed to work. And then they fill in the blanks like there's some 3D model where they're predicting eclipses. They just filled that in their head. But nobody actually ever told you that. None of your teachers ever said, Hey, man, they used a 3D model of a globe, a moon, and the sun to predict eclipse times. And that they used Kepler's fucking orbits to predict eclipse. No one ever told you that. They couldn't do it because of the three-body problem which someone laid out. When you actually have a shitload of bodies, because the sun's supposed to be wobbling because of the orbit of Jupiter and blah, 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 it would never work. And they say it doesn't work. Now the question is, does it not work because it's wrong, or does it not work because of perturbations of orbits? That's the question. But the thing is, we know how to predict eclipses. You know you can predict eclipses using nothing but pi? I got that video too. Which is from the same guy, which is a math channel. From a math professor.
It's on YouTube.
Okay,
One of the
so
best universities in the
calculating.
goddamn world. Which you
So
could never get
calculating
into.
so the
You couldn't even get into this university, dude, with an
I
infinite
know.
amount of.
I fucking know. I never said I was.
Okay,
I
then
would
why
never
you
said I was a
poo-pooing it?
scientist. And I just said, and I just found out there now, they did not use the Saros cycle. They used calculating eclipses done using the ephemeris. It's a mathematical model
don't actually
describing the
do that,
motion of
dude.
celestial bodies. Utilizing the ephemeris, we can figure out the position of the sun and the moon at a time and then calculate the angle, separating them to determine if an eclipse happens. For the 2017 North American total solar eclipse, NASA used their supercomputers to predict it. Using their immense computing power, they even account for the elevation data for both Earth and
Supercomputers.
the Moon. This is impossible to achieve from the Saros cycle.
Which one are you talking about? Is that the one they changed 4 times?
He's talking about the ephemeris, which is essentially a celestial model. It's about as old as the Earth itself, the ephemeris. You don't need a supercomputer to, decipher the ephemeris, for crying out loud.
You can use an
Yeah,
antikythera mechanism.
Anyone can
I'd
do
like
it,
to
but
and that's a cool story, but I want to see the actual model they used, as in the formulas, the actual model. The model is like the formulas and the calculations and the variables that are plugged into it. I want to see that. Just saying you did that without evidence, right? Yeah, we did it this way. Yeah, show me.
there's
Show me
some
the
source
formula
code that
you
you guys
used.
can use. There's some source code.
The source
You can
code
look
for the
through that.
supercomputer? What language is that written in? Lisp?
I think that's Python. Anyone can do
Supercomputers
it.
are using Python. Oh, Jesus
No.
Christ.
Anyone can do it. I know the NASA used supercomputers for whatever they were calculating, but anyone can use this ephemeris, or whatever you call it, to
Ephemeris,
predict
yeah.
a solar eclipse. Ephemeris. The script uses Pythim to determine the positions of the moon and sun.
Where are you reading this?
Debunking flat Earth misconceptions.
Oh.
Wow.
Well, that's what you guys do. You
Well,
debunk
yeah,
globe
okay.
misconceptions.
No, okay, now we're gonna frickin' go all in on this. I want the actual model they used, where they said this is possible. No, I want the actual model, the mathematical model with a globe in it.
Okay.
With a radius of 3,959 miles, all that shit. Orbital distance to the moon, orbital distance to the sun, the projection of how it should look, all that shit. I want all that. I want that model.
NASA uses GPL development ephemeris, such as
Okay, we don't need
DE45.
you to play catch up. Just give us the model you said exists. You said you asked me what's our model to predict eclipses.
Do you want a little
You
picture?
said
You
you
want a
had a
little
model to
cartoon?
predict
Like, what do you
eclipses.
mean?
I want you to substantiate that.
Why are you
I don't
asking
want
us?
to
This
hear
is your
someone
claim.
just
You should
talking
know what
about
it
what they
is.
did. I want you to substantiate it, as in put
I
some
just
meat
sent
on
it.
the bone.
They use a mathematical
Yeah,
fucking
great. I want
equation.
meat, but yeah, you can claim that, but that doesn't mean that's what you did. So I want
Okay.
meat on the bone. Cowbell? I can jump over the Empire State Building. That's a claim.
Yeah.
We use the globe model to predict eclipses. That's a claim. Now let's see the evidence.
You jumped over the Empire State Building?
Yeah, of course. Do it all the time. Oh, fuck.
Brother, in the link you provided, there's no model in there. You're gonna have to
Yeah.
do better.
Do you want a little fucking
Where's the
picture?
variable for the Where's the variable
No,
for the solar
bro.
distance in that?
You
Where's the
claimed a
variable for the
globe
size of the
model.
Earth? Where's the variable for the moon distance? Where's the what are you showing us?
I don't fucking
Maybe
know.
we're asking the wrong question, Indio. Hey, friend, what is the globe model? What is it?
It's a big globe.
You really should
The Earth.
read before you post things, dude.
Where is this big globe of yours?
Your measurements are being taken from the
I don't
center of
know.
the Earth. The place observer in the center of the... That's crazy, dude.
Place the observer in the center of the Earth, so like, what, hell? Is that how you reify your globe into
Oh
existence?
shit! I stand corrected, Travis. It was $10,000. I must have my brain must have not even comprehended that shit.
Good job.
How do you explain the different constellations from the different hemispheres in a
Hey,
flat
you
plane?
want to bet Shane $10,000?
How do
Yeah, this could be
what?
quite lucrative. We need more globers like that.
I mean, I could just repackage it and regift his bullshit, but give 10 G's for myself. Now, what were you asking about constellations?
Yeah, he
How do you
wants us to
explain
explain why
how we
when
see
he goes to different places he sees different things above his head.
Fucking A.
Well, if we're in the northern
Look, when you're in
hemisphere,
your
I
house,
see
you're under a
different
ceiling fan. When
constellations
you
too.
walk
If you're
around
in
your
the
house, does the ceiling fan stay there? Just follows you around?
fucking stupid, mate. If you're in the northern hemisphere, you see different stars to whenever you're in the southern hemisphere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
Hemisphere
looking
of
at
what?
different parts of
Sorry,
space.
no shit. The ones in the north are circumpolar to the north celestial pole. The ones in south are circumpolar to the south celestial pole. So when you move between the two and when you look up, you see them. When you go here, you
If we're
see
on a
these
flat
ones,
plane, you
defined as you said, the ones in the north. And then when you go to the south, you see the ones that are defined by the south, by their circumpolar rotation.
Well, if you were
And
if you're on a flat plane, you'd still be able to see the North Star, wouldn't you?
why?
Really?
Do you understand how perspective works and things above your eye line with distance
You
from
wouldn't be able
moving
to
away
see
from
it.
underneath them appear to converge towards the horizon? Right? That's why the clouds appear to touch the horizon at distance. Right? Why the star, why the sun looks like to you this convergence of the sky and the earth beneath. That's perspective. How you see the world. So when you move from, let's say, you are underneath the North Star and you move away from being underneath it, you'll notice it starts declining towards the horizon. As you look forward, you see the stars that are in front of you coming upwards from the horizon till eventually you've gone so far that there's one above your head. Well, there's none there, but you get to the south and you look up and there's a celestial rotation. You obviously can't see the north one anymore because it's gone downwards towards the horizon beyond your ability
Yeah,
to see
there
it.
we go.
Yeah, like why the ceiling appears to get closer to the floor when you look down the corridor. It's not actually getting close to the floor. The floor's not actually ramping up to meet the ceiling at the midpoint of your view. That's just the way you see the world. That's why those street lights at the end of the street look smaller and lower than the one you're standing next to. So the reason why you see other things is you've gone to a different location where they do different things.
You literally said
defined
it. You said it yourself, man. The stars they disappear because they go below your horizon as the Earth curves away.
No, does the ceiling
That-
go below the floor when you
That's
look
why
down
the
the
further
corridor?
south you go, the lower
Hello?
Polaris gets
Hello?
in the sky until it
Hello?
completely vanishes.
Excuse me, do you think the ceiling goes below the floor when you look down the corridor?
What are you talking about?
Perspective.
What the fuck are you
How
talking about?
things above your eye line with distance appear to converge to the midpoint of your view. It's why the mountain far away looks smaller, why the streetlights at the end of the road look smaller and lower than the one that
Fucking
you're
North
standing next
Star.
to. You're talking about a star. When you stand underneath it, you look up and it's there. You walk away from being underneath it, and with distance, it starts descending downwards towards the horizon. It's not actually getting lower, it's how you see the world.
Yeah, because the world is curved.
Oh my god, he's just
On a
because
flat
cold.
plane, moving south shouldn't
Just
make
started
Polaris
chanting.
slide down. It shouldn't
Yeah.
make Polaris slide down the horizon. It should always be visible. You're literally
All
watching
right.
curvature.
No worries, brother. You made a claim there. Let's get that out of the way. That's kind of the crux of the matter anyway. So can you show us where the Earth curve has been measured?
Oh my god. Fuck me.
Yeah, I know. What a
Really?
ridiculous question, right? Who would ask such a stupid thing about a globe? Who has measured the curvature of the Earth? How ridiculous.